Okay, guys, how are you? Okay, sorry I have not been around lately. I wanted to talk about Owen Schroyer's show and a couple of other different things. Now, hang on a minute.
He says, I can promise.
He quit InfoWars and started his own network, he calls it, and it's a drag. When he was just doing videos on the side, like I think he was doing them Sunday night. He was really interesting and compelling with some of the things that he was presenting. And last Friday he was hilarious, and you know, it was good. Okay. I won't, we could go back and look at it, but this is the point I'm trying to make. So the latest thing that he's dropping is, how many more minutes are left on this one? Is he's just basically talking about shit that is a buzz on the web from the new alt Mockingbird media. And that's all it is. And it is a drag. He deviated from that. He like went in 100% different direction, and now this week he's just sort of fumbling and stumbling. He took, I think, Monday off, said it was a personal emergency, then came back with this really bland bullshit. I'm looking for a specific clip, but it's 3 hours, so let's go.
I promise you that Ted Cruz won't say anything. Barry Weiss won't have a.
Who
You get
cares?
expelled
In
by
all
Trump.
honesty, who cares about Barry Weiss or Ted Cruz? Yeah, I know who Barry Weiss is, and I know who Ted Cruz is. He's a foreigner who had a father that was involved in some very suspicious shit. No one cares what Mike Cernovich is putting on Twitter. I actually have him blocked. I don't want him to be anything that I see.
I think he posted so November.
Who cares
So
what
because I
Cernovich
am logically
posted?
consistent.
No, you're not. You're not. Mike Cernovich is a deep state operative. I hate using that word. Langley, FBI, whatever.
Slurs yelled at me.
I don't believe any of these attacks against TPUSA are real. I believe they are all staged. No one gives two fucks about this organization. No one did give two fucks about it. But suddenly you have a fake shit coffin or something boarding Air Force Two with Usha Vance and this witch. Two witches, really. Let's not forget Usha Vance. And let's do this. Pictures of Usha Vance. I can't even get anything decent here anymore. I can't even type here. Pictures of Usha Vance at speaking at RN's Republican convention. I think that's I've noticed the whole internet has basically been scrubbed too, ever since this event. So this is not a very good web, but the entire time she had that one eye covered, boy. Here they, no, somehow it's not. Right there. I mean, the whole time. For some reason, it wasn't there. She didn't have her hair tucked behind her ear. Right here. She said this is how her hair was the whole time she was speaking. Now, don't you guys think that's a little weird? I don't like. Look at her. Look at the way she's looking. I don't want this woman anywhere near the White House. Yet she's hugging and consoling the witch Erica Vance, who's like hugging and pressing her breasts and her vag area against JD Vance, and then taking these slimy fingers and running them through his hair with her fake hair extensions and shit. Man, there is something wrong with that broad. Let's go back to Owen.
Okay. Doesn't bother me. I don't care. I don't cry. I put you on camera and I laugh. Or I put you on camera and I debate you. I don't call the DOJ. I don't call the local police. I don't get on the mainstream media. Oh my gosh, oh, I'm a poor white boy. Oh my gosh, oh, they're so anti-white.
Actually, you kind of are coming on there bitching about your situation right now. You're the one that decided to quit InfoWars. You can't go back. And now you have a bunch of sponsors who are controlling what you say. Therefore, your show will never be good. It will always suck unless you become and you're usurped in to the new Mockingbird media.
White people. And I believe in for race outrage, no. This is heavier stuff to end the show with today.
Ah!
This is heavier stuff.
Oh,
now,
wow.
I've already talked about how
this made me want to vomit my brains out. He should just avoid the topic, but I think he's being instructed to bring it up. There is a conspiracy upon a conspiracy upon a conspiracy here.
Well, I think Charlie was one of the last voices of reason.
He was one of the last voices of reason? Are you kidding me? Charlie Kirk was a divisive, nasty, bombastic person who said, and I quote, and I had the video, I watched it this week and I couldn't believe it, who said that when you die, you will come face to face with a rabbinical, is this what he said? Rabbinical rabbi by the name of Jesus, who you'll have to answer to. I want you to think about that. He thinks Jesus is a rabbi, but he's a reasonable voice. And the more I've been looking at some of these rallies, quote, debates, they're not debates. A debate is when you have a moderator that asks a question and you have side A and side B. You know, or you have person one or person two, and sometimes you can have three people. But I mean, a formal, real debate is not what he was doing. People came up to him, asked questions. I think a lot of them looked planted. The more I go back and look at some of this stuff, but I despise him as a person anyway. His speaking style is weird. He holds his upper teeth over his lower teeth. He has no chin. He has some sort of weird hairpiece on. His wife doesn't even remember the day they were married or the year. I don't even think they've released the date. It's just speculation. Their wedding pictures are in Israel. Hey, what's going on? All right, here we go. This is heavy stuff, Owen says.
To end the show with today.
Oh, dear.
This is heavier stuff. Now,
oh, wow.
I've already talked about how I think Charlie was one of the last voices of reason.
Is he reading a script? Charlie Kirk, a last voice of reason? This is a joke. I've seen the Megyn Kelly and the stuff with Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson is CIA, but oh no, he's not. He's really good. He says some really good stuff. No, but who is telling him to say what and why? The man was actually in Nicaragua in the 80s, not once but twice. in the helping the State Department perform a color revolution down there. They plant people to overthrow governments and to rile up citizens. So they start a civil war. I mean, this is something the U.S. has been doing massively. Syria is a good example. I mean, on Veterans Day or the day before Veterans Day, you have an Al-Qaeda guy there that admits to killing U.S. soldiers in the White House. Has the man lost his mind? I mean, it was at that juncture, I can't even look at it, that I decided to no longer even look at Trump, listen to him unless I'm forced to, or unless I'm trying to present a point. The guy is just scum. No, I don't think he's a pedophile. I think that's a bunch of bullshit. And I don't like that either. I mean, what do people consider to be a pedophile? If you're 16 or 17-year-old, you tell a dude that you're 18 or 19 and you go out. I mean, when I was 17, I was going out with men that were over 18. I was going to bars. I was making out with them. I wasn't having sex with them. When I was 15, I was hanging out with 18-year-old guys, 19-year-old guys. No one tried anything on me. I wouldn't let them. Does that make them a pedophile? Now, Joe Biden with his daughter taking showers when she was young, 10, 11 years old or whatever, that's sick. But somehow we're focusing on Trump? This is bullshit. I don't like the guy, but I don't think that has anything to do with the Epstein shit. I know for damn sure, and these people are so stupid they won't even go back in history. I know for damn sure that Bill Clinton was on that Lolita Express a couple times a month. Everyone knew it. It was a joke. He was a joke. Why do you think Bush got elected twice? No, it wasn't fraud. There was fraud going on. But no one wanted to elect Al Gore. It just would have been another 8 years of the same bull crap. Let's keep going with this. Try to wrap your head around this. And he's looking down and not into the camera when he says this, which tells me he's probably been told to say this because he's got to jump on board with the rest of the bullshit out there. Candace Owens is complete deep state operative. She is completely manipulating people. I mean, she does a report on Bridget Macron having a penis? Oh, come on. I mean, maybe she does. I mean, shit, I don't know. But she made that a big, huge focus for about a year. Let's go.
In Trump's ear, and how Charlie Kirk was maybe the...
When was Charlie in Trump's ear? Oh, but you know, he was. How do you know that? Well, I mean, I heard it on Candace. I heard it on Tucker. I mean, yeah. I don't think so. He wasn't even a Trump supporter until the only other candidates left were Jill Stein and Hillary Clinton. He didn't even announce his support until after the end of the Republican National Convention in 2016 in July. He wasn't on board. He was a never Trumper with Ted Cruz. On my Grok conversation somewhere, I have saved the line that was going on between the Ted Cruz, the Mark Levin, and all that bullshit and Mark Levin's son worked for Ted Cruz. The line that was going on back in that summer was Donald Trump cannot be allowed to be president. Mark Belling was shouting it. Mark Levin, that's when I stopped listening to talk radio. I thought, this is bullshit. Let's keep going. Listen to this crap. And he's looking down.
Last voice that
I
could
think he's reading a prepared statement.
Get to Donald Trump and tell him.
He has Netanyahu and Al Qaeda in the White House constantly. But somehow we are supposed, even though Kirk was in Korea, he was doing this, he was a traveling dude. What was he doing on all these travels? His wife was a witch. There is no evidence they've ever been married. There is no evidence. There are no birth certificates of these children or the wedding, the actual marriage certificate. There is no death certificate that I've seen because it didn't happen.
How Americans are really feeling.
What? Charlie Kirk doesn't represent me at all. He's a creep.
But I have another conclusion I've reached after something Megyn Kelly shared this weekend.
Oh.
And by the way, you know,
if you're sharing video of Charlie Kirk, Megyn Kelly, and Tucker Carlson, you want to be a part of it, or you're being forced to be a part of it, because otherwise you will lose your house. If you've listened to all his podcasts, he will, according to him.
Candace Owens fell under massive attack for some claims.
Okay, Candace Owens never received fake text messages. Are you kidding me? She's one of the richest women in the world. You don't even know that, do you? Because that's hidden. All right, Megyn Kelly is just a nut job. She has a chin implant. She's got these weird extensions dyed another color. She doesn't look herself. She like elongated her face. She got some sort of a major plastic surgery thing going on. And all of a sudden, Megyn Kelly is someone we care about? So now, Candace, the latest thing, yeah.
She made about text messages.
There are no text messages.
That she had with Charlie?
No. How do we know those are real? She had them made. I mean, are you kidding? Show us the phone number. Show us the phone. Show us the exact date, time, and second. I don't believe it. But people are so gullible. They believe the COVIDians. They believed it hook, line, and sinker. Running around with a mask. Oh my God, I'm going to die. Okay.
And she actually produced those text messages.
I don't believe it. All right, let's keep going. Well, I don't know where to go with this. Let's do this. Let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna turn it around a little bit. There was I don't know when this was actually first aired.
Against myself.
Okay, let me turn this down. I don't know when this was first aired. It seemed to me that it was old. Stu is just like not doing a whole hell of a lot right now. But I listened to it was almost 2 hours of this interview, and it came to me during this time that, okay, you know what? Hang on 1 minute. I'm going to do something different real quick. Here's a guy that speaks about, oh, crap. I have to keep reloading these pages. It really is pissing me off. Let's see if it comes. It's, I'm not evangelical. You guys know that I am Catholic, okay? But this guy has some interesting information. Okay. So this is back from 2023, so it's 2 years old. Okay.
Hello, everybody. My name is
Oh my
Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today, we're going to be discussing Charlie Kirk and his idolatry. We're going to talk about, should Christians pray at the Western Wall, also known as the Wailing Wall? And if they do, how should they do it? As the pagans do? So those are some questions we're going to be answering, and we're going to be using Charlie Kirk as our object lesson / punching bag in this video because he posted a Bible verse next to it, and that draws more attention and more ire to the situation. So my thesis
Oh, but he was changing. He was changing. No, he wasn't.
for this video is that Charlie Kirk was committing idolatry by praying at the Western Wall as the pagans do. And I want to raise larger concern because I think many Christians don't realize that this is idolatry, that this is not a site of historical significance for Christians. And there's other practices in the Holy Land that Christians do, like getting baptized in the Jordan River. So I want to touch on that as well. But first, I want to let you know Evangelical Dark Web is a Christian news gathering and commentary ministry. You can support our work over at but the if you're a listener, if you are new. So this is a lot of attention, and 2.7 million views. Doesn't quite get ratioed, but nonetheless got a lot of attention, sparked a
Well, it got 4.1 thousand comments.
huge conversation on whether Christians should pray at the Wailing Wall. Like I said before, a lot of your favorite politicians have also done this same act. By the way, you should follow Evangelical Dark Web on Twitter at Evangelical DW.
Okay.
Done this. And the thing is, I think they are accidentally participating in idolatry.
Okay.
Idolatry's done this. Rather than me coming off as, act towards those people and what they're doing. So Charlie Kirk posted a picture of him praying at the Wailing Wall wearing a yarmulke, and the tweet says, "I will bless those who bless you, and who dishonors you I will curse, and in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed."
That's
Genesis
not
12
true.
verse 3. Now, Genesis 12:3 specifically refers to the seed of Abraham, which will bring forth Christ. It is not referring to the Jewish people. You should be looking for Christ in the story, especially in the Old Testament. You can find Christ in the Old Testament, and this verse is specifically talking about Christ. It is not referring to the Jewish people. So that is the main point of this verse, and Charlie Kirk is misapplying this verse to apply to modern day Israel, which is not the same as Old Testament Israel. Neither ethnically nor spiritually would I argue that they are the same people. And certainly,
Well, let me say this, that Miriam Adelson was born in Palestine. I mean, that was a country called Palestine. Great Britain basically ran it, and under the Balfour Declaration, they gave the land to people like Netanyahu, whose real name is Milikowski. His father and his grandfather, I believe, were born in Germany. They are Polish, or excuse, not born in Germany, born in Poland. They are Polish Jews. And Netan is honestly, if you look at his face recently and whatnot, he looks like the devil. Miriam Adelson is basically working with Susie Wiles, Trump's chief of staff that believes in all this crap, who ran Netanyahu's last campaign. And or they changed the name from Mili Kowski, Mileikowski. And I mean, this is well known, not in the media. And, they went over there and, a lot of the hospitals there were run by the British. And then they just turned it into a major ethno state, but there's a huge genocide going on. I mean, basically, they're doing a major ethnic cleansing, and it's under Trump. Owen is also starting to talk about the Nazis. He had Ivan Raiklin on, who is Army Intel, today. And I thought, what the hell? I'm out of here. I don't know why I was so into his solo shows. I understand why he got irritated, but I said to myself, he's going to have to get sponsors or be savvy enough to start. I can't speak. No, I haven't been drinking, although I just opened a beer, but it's like almost, yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to go. I mean, I had a day today that where I was, having a lot of anxiety, which I'm going to be honest with you, I rarely have, quote, anxiety. But I did today. And I'm worried about some things. And I just have a lot of concerns. And I think, I'm just letting you know in case I sound off or something like that, I haven't really slept for the last like 3 or 4 nights because, I fall asleep. Okay. But then I wake up maybe 4 hours later in just going, oh my God, what is this pain? But I'm still like half asleep and I'm like kind of stumbling around, looking, going all the way to the front of the apartment for an ice pack, which is like a 30-foot hallway. And I'm like, oh. And then by then you're just sort of awake. But I can't survive on 4 hours of sleep, because then I'll just be doing caffeine all day. And this has been happening every day this week. And then I try to fall back asleep or I just try to relax and take deep breaths. And it's just been bad. It's and I'm just, and then, once I get up, pain goes away. So I probably need like a mattress topper or a new mattress, even though it is a new mattress, something, something needs to be done, but that's my problem. That's why I haven't even posted this week. I've been pissed off because it's just that makes me concerned because when you can't sleep, then you're not yourself. So let's get back to this guy.
The religion of modern Judaism is not the same as Old Testament Judaism. So we've kind of discussed a lot of my views in the John Hagee episode that I did. But long story short, I believe that the Old Testament is very preterist towards the land promises of Genesis 15.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
And this passage in Genesis 12 is referring to the seed of Abraham, his descendants, which, as Paul would teach, refer to those who are the elect, are the seed of Abraham, because not all who are of Abraham are Abraham. So, long story short, so Charlie Kirk tweets this out.
I just
and
don't
what
understand
he's
that either.
doing.
But
And
go
let's
ahead.
let's actually talk about the Western Wall for a second. Who built the Western Wall? Is this originally part of the first temple? No, because that was destroyed by the Babylonians. Is this part of the second temple? Sort of, at best. At best.
Okay, so now he's going off into some stuff. Let's move it forward. There was something in here I wanted you to
Part of the
hear.
second temple. It's not really what's
I don't
left
know
of the
what
second temple.
all these temples are. I don't understand evangelical Christian.
You know the song "When in Rome, do as the Romans do." This is "When in Jerusalem, do as the pagans do." So this isn't built.
Okay, it's not really what I wanted. Oop, oop. Charlie Kirk, the founder of TPUSA, is one of the, no, he really wasn't the founder. Is one of the most lucrative brands in American. Not really. His brand of conservatism is renowned for a big tent approach with extra homage to Israel, the result of his support for sodomy in 2019. What the fuck is that all about? Was an event known as the Graper Wars, whatever that is. I think I might know, in which trolls infiltrated TPUSA events and asked him how, I'll just say it, buck sex was worth conserving. What does that mean? Conserving. The Graper Wars resulted in Kirk responding to criticisms by leaning more into faith and spirituality. I don't believe he was spiritual or faithful. And so, I mean, that's just all a front, because you can get tax exempt for that, can't you? And so TPUSA faith is a result of that. So then he brings all these weird pastors in with all kinds of weird shit. It's a faith, it's a mixed bag. It's an organization known for discernment and will even promote a Christian hating atheist at its pastors' summit. Well, they also did a bunch of Scientology shit. Kirk does not have good theology, so he tweeted this image with the caption, "I will bless those who bless you." Okay, whatever. That's nice. He's got a nice tan there, though, doesn't he? Many Christians go to the wall out of ignorance and accidentally participate in the idolatry of the spectacle. Wearing a yarmulke is not a Christian tradition. It is a Yiddish one. Moreover, the Western Wall has no significance to the Christian faith. It is not a holy relic. It is not part of the Second Temple, whatever that is. Its construction began at the earliest with Herod the Great, but was more likely to have been completed by Herod Agrippa II, who reigned after Christ's ascension, Acts 26. Jesus prophesied the destruction of the temple, and his prophecy was 100% complete. Therefore, Christians should not pray as pagans pray in Jerusalem. I suppose he would think I'm a pagan too. Kirk takes this up as a notch by citing Genesis. Genesis about Christ. Therefore, Kirk's interpretation. Okay. So he has some interesting stuff. He has said some things that, believe it or not, I actually find interesting. But I am not evangelical, so I mean, I know where my limits are with some of this crap. But there you go. Now, let's go to Stu Peters. Well, I know this Greg Locke guy. So I had put this up, a video up on this channel, and the only comment I recall getting was from Elena George, who actually watched it and said, "Wow, just wow," or something of that nature. And I had watched this video twice. I've actually watched it 3 or 4 times now. because I think it's very important that people realize there is intel operating in these groups. They do a lot of money laundering, and they support, I know I'm jumping around here, they support people and take them. These people all are like plucked when they're 17, 18, 19 years old. Nick Fuentes. Carlson is down in Panama, or not Panama, Nicaragua. Erica Kirk is a big example. At age 17, she's mature and smart enough to work with the USMC to open up an orphanage in Romania on a Marine base there, showing fake used Amazon boxes going in there as Christmas gifts. Oh, please. Let's get real. I know you go, well, some people, nah, not that broad. Not that broad. She is a weirdo. And you can tune out if you want or whatever, but that chick is not straight up. Meaning she is not a truthful, she is a facade. She seems to be under some kind of weird, almost mind control kind of thing, if you want my opinion. Okay, so let's talk about this guy. His name is Foster Friess. He's an American investment banker and prominent donor to the Republican Party and to Christian right causes, whatever that is. He unsuccessfully sought the Republican nomination for governor in Wyoming. I'm going to scan through this. I apologize. Okay. He was born in Rice Lake, Wisconsin. I know that area very well. I used to travel there maybe twice a month on business. And it was very close to Lake Superior. Not very, but maybe 100 miles off. And it was back then, anyway, I just remember the days I went there where I was actually sent there, to do some stuff, medical devices. And I just remember it during those days. And this was about 2003 through maybe 2006 or 7, because I kind of switched product lines I was carrying. But it was so cold. And I was driving a Bravada at the time, which really handled great in the winter and on bad roads. I mean, I was on dirt roads for miles. I was just so cold that winter. I mean, it was just unbelievable. 2003. And 4. It was just fucking freezing, And I just remember, and I was still working out during all this. Well, I was out jogging every night, or as many nights a week as I could. And this is before all the massive geo stuff was taking place in the air. And you could actually get your footing on snowy pavement and ice. Now you can't, because it's loaded with surfactants. But I just remember, I always kind of liked it because it was I got a really nice room. The people were wonderful. They had like a little bar that served pizza there, or I'd pick up a salad, and everything was perfect. I had my coffee, I had all that, everything. I just had everything organized. I usually requested the same room, and they didn't have a problem with that. Some places do, because of security. might be trying to plant a bomb or something. And I just remember starting my car and moving my stuff around, and oh God, it was something else. But it was a neat experience back then for me. It was 20 plus years ago. It seems like just yesterday, but it was an interesting place, and very rural. And, one of these areas where you could do almost anything and just kind of hide, right? So anyway, Freese was valedictorian of his class and a member of the basketball and track teams. At first generation college graduate, Freese attended the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where he earned a degree in biz ad. As a student, he served the president of Chi Phi fraternity, enrolled in the Reserve Officers Training Corps, and was named one of the 10 most outstanding senior men. In 1962, he married a fellow student, Lynette Estes, with whom he had 4 children. He was a born-again Christian. Whatever that means. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not meaning to... Oh, he died in Scottsdale, right outside of Phoenix. Isn't that where Kirk is buried? Anyway, he worked, he was trained to be an infantry platoon leader, served as the intelligence officer for the 1st Guided Missile Brigade at Fort Bliss, Texas. In 1965, he began his investment career joining the Brittingham family-controlled New York Stock Exchange member firm in Wilmington, Delaware, where he eventually rose to the position of director of research. Now, the Brittingham family, which apparently has been scrubbed from the internet, but I don't quite remember doing a search on it, made billions in lumber in that area. They were loggers. And there is a lot of logging going on there. And then if you go down the road a couple 100 miles, you'll hit, where all the paper factories are. Or if you head out toward the Green Bay area, that's all was paper mills. You didn't know that, did you? Now you do. In 1974, Freese and his wife launched their own investment management firm, Freese Associates. I'm gonna skip over this. So he became rich, okay? So he was a longtime Republican Party mega donor, giving millions of dollars to Republican and conservative causes, especially on the, quote, Christian right, end quote. So he donated $250,000 to Santorum's re-election campaign in 2006, and it could have been more through PAC funds and stuff. And at least the same amount to the Republican Governors Association. Freese largely funded Santorum's unsuccessful campaign for the 2012 Republican presidential nomination. Now I'm going to stop there. Who supported Rick Santorum? Mark Levin. Rick was on Mark's show all the time, kind of talking quite a bit of nonsense. He was talking about a lot of Catholic theology, which didn't sound correct to me because I read the GIRM, the General Instruction of the Roman Missal, and I even called a priest once, and I went on Mark's show to tell him, and he said to me, "So what?" Those words. He said, "Does it really matter?" And, I'm on national radio. I'm like, well, I suppose it doesn't, Mark. I'm not going to challenge that guy on a topic like this. I don't remember the exact thing it was, but Rick was way off. And I knew he was, and I'm like, what the hell? Again, I was driving I was driving well over 1,000 miles a week. So I used to listen to these things on satellite radio and call in. And I had time to keep the phone on hold and put it on speaker. So anyway, there's your tie there. So Freese largely, if we said that already, he was instrumental in keeping Santorum's fledgling campaign alive by financing a super PAC, the Red, White, and Blue Fund, which ran TV ads on behalf of Santorum, who was unable to run a television campaign with his own funds. According to campaign filings with the FEC, Free's contributions to the Red, White, and Blue Fund were more than 40% of its total assets. And I don't know if these numbers are correct. In the wake of 2012 New Hampshire Republican primary and before the South Carolina primary, Freese told Politico that he was putting together a challenge grant to encourage other wealthy donors to give to the Red, White, and Blue Fund. He said the fund received $1 million check the day after New Hampshire alone. The $1 million donation was conveyed in 4 checks between November 2011 and January 2012. In addition to Santorum's faith, opposition to women's abortion rights, and hawkish foreign policy leanings, the possibility of defeating incumbent Barack Obama was a major component. Yeah, like that would have happened. Okay. I'm going to skip over some of this. So he also donated $100,000, probably more, to Governor Scott Walker to help defeat the Democrats' recall election or effort in 2011. As I saw it on the ground, that wasn't going to happen, but a lot of people would disagree with me on that. We did not have voter ID. People were multiple voting, and he was popular in Democrat districts. He exposed someone really creepy. Anyway, it's another story. All I know is he was my neighbor. Okay, so in 2011, I think he had moved by then, but he was for 6 years. Okay. Here we go. He reportedly invested more than $3 million in conservative commentator Tucker Carlson's Daily Caller website. At one of the semi-annual private seminars held by the Koch brothers in June 2011, Freese was recognized for his donation exceeding $1 million to the Koch's political activities. So he got Tucker started in that Daily Caller website. And Tucker was already like CIA infiltrated. What can I say? Freese also was an advisor to Turning Point USA, a conservative youth organization. When you're over 30 years old, it's not youth. And I don't really believe they had that many people involved with it, but whatever. To which he donated the seed money. In October 2017, he said that he was exploring a possible candidacy for the Senate, challenging Wyoming Senator John Barrasso for the Republican nomination at the request of Steve Bannon, another very shady character. However, in 2018, he instead decided to enter the Republican field to replace the governor. Okay. Freese was defeated in the primary, coming in second to, okay, whatever. Uh, oh, he donated to the 2010 Haiti earthquake along with the Clintons. Isn't that something? It starts to go really weird. Okay. So he's okay. Wow. He was Army Intel. Okay, I can't find it here, but when he was in the Army, he was Intel. And then it skims over this, but I don't want to spend much more time on that. He's Army Intel, and he's rubbing noses with other Intel ops. All right. So we get to this. And I'm thinking of Kirk when I watched this because of the weird people he hangs out with, which are similar to this guy. So, okay.
Myself and my entire family, including my children, and is now facing felony criminal charges. Now, when we have been discussing this issue with my office at the White House on a regular basis, Paula White, John Hagee, who you just saw, goes on. Donald, you know, that clip is just so much deeper than your stand voting for Trump in the name of Israel.
To have you with us. We thank you so much.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
They are get into heaven. Rated by Schofield Bible.
Steve, or not Steve, Stu keeps going, like saying all these Bible verses and shit all the time. I'm a little bothered by that, you know?
No, they're not colonizers. The Jewish people are the people who are indigenous to the land. God.
Not true. Like I said, Milikowski, Benjamin Netanyahu, was born in Poland. How the fuck is he indigenous to that land?
God gave them that land. And God says in Romans chapter 11 that he is not cast off and grabbed.
He wishes he were a Jew. I'm not a Jew.
People. I is indigenous to the region. No, they're not colonizers. The Jewish people are the people who are indigenous to the land. God gave them that land. And God
stole it.
Says in Romans chapter 11 that he is not cast off his people. Fact of the matter is, and I mean the Jews when I see his people, I as a Gentile, no, I'm not Jewish. Wish I was, but I'm not. I as a Gentile have been grafted into the
Good grief, you shouldn't be a preacher then.
Promises of God. So I benefit from the promises made by God to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Oh my God.
He wishes he were a Jew. I'm not a Jew, but found his love and state of Israel. And they used thumpers to advance Israeli to build the third temple in Israel, judged as an platforms. Just think of all of the creeps, all of the fake Zionist pastors that are hanging out around Donald Trump, who was called Robert Jackson, into voting for Trump in the name of Israel. Take a look.
If you hate Israel, vote Democrat. If you love Israel, vote for Donald J. Trump. It's that simple.
Pastor, it is always great to have you with us. We thank you so much.
Wow. You know, that clip is just so much deeper than your standard run-of-the-mill everyday political endorsement by a faith leader in America. That is a Christian pastor on national television in a Christian country founded by and for Christians, telling Christians that if you want to be blessed, if you want to go to heaven, then you have to vote for Donald Trump.
Ah.
Because Donald Trump worships and serves Israel.
Oh my God.
And remember, Goy, just like Pastor John Hagee just told us a moment ago, real Christians, they serve the Jew. Because you never know what perverted rabbi in a bloodstained mattress-riddled tunnel in New York City or a gay club in Tel Aviv might be the Jewish Messiah. That is the Schofield Bible bastardized version of Christianity that's being pounded into the heads of Americans every single day in this country. And the people that we've already talked about, they're not the exceptions. They are the rule when it comes to this modern day Schofield American Bible Christianity in this country. Jack Hibbs is another one of these people. He actually says, just like John Hagee, that it will depend on how you treated the Jew, whether or not you get into heaven. Watch.
It's a beautiful day, got my Bible, I'm ready to go. How do I handle family members that call themselves Christians but are into anti-Semitic conspiracy theories?
They don't read their Bibles. They can call themselves Christians all day long until they obey Jesus. I don't care who reads their Bible. God only cares about who obeys the Bible. And isn't it interesting in Matthew chapter 25, the criteria that Jesus will use against the world when he comes back to establish his kingdom is, how did you treat the Jews, my brethren? Wow. Matthew 25, go read it later. He's going to judge the world in his second coming based upon, how did you treat my brethren? And he's referring to the Jews, not the church. Watch out for any anti-Semitic sentiment.
When he says that we'll be judged on how we treat the Jew, he means we'll be judged on how hard we bow down to or how much money we pledge to the secular nation state of Israel or any other tiny hat wearing Shylock that happens to cross our path, because these are the people who are funding these guys. And that's why on any given Sunday, flip on your TV, watch the Crystal Cathedral, walk into some megachurch somewhere or a tent, and you can listen to one of these fake pastors as they get up on stage and clamor for the blood of Palestinian children. You can hear them clamor for the Israeli.
And they're wearing this freedom shirt now, which is really weird. Freedom from what? Freedom against what? What are you trying to free yourself from? There isn't freedom here. You're being watched 24/7. I am going to pause. Well, I'm going to have to do a part 2. When I pause these things, I can't pick up my audio again. So I will come back and do a part 2, which is the real guts of this thing. So I apologize for doing this, but here I go.